everybody, and welcome to another episode of Sheikh's Cricketing Journeys. Today is a very special episode for me. This brings back old memories of playing with this gentleman. Many years ago now, probably over 10 years, around 10 years ago, we played together. Today I'm joined by Australian cricketer, leg spinning genius, brother Fawad Ahmed. Assalamu alaikum, brother.
Wa alaikum assalam, brother. How are you?
Alhamdulillah, very well. Woke up nice and early this morning because obviously we have a massive time difference between us. So I normally wake up a little bit later due to the rosy. I go to sleep at Fajr time, have my seri, do my Fajr, go to sleep, and I wake up a little bit later. But for you today, I've woken up earlier. So if you can see my face looking still a little bit sleepy, I apologize. So how are you?
No pain, no gain. If you don't sacrifice your time or a little bit of sleep, your podcast not gonna, click. So you have to lose something to gain something. So this how things works in this world.
Absolutely.
I'm good. I'm great. Alhamdulillah. Can't complain. So I've been really good.
How's Ramadan been?
Ramadan is pretty crazy, simple. As usual. The short days here in Australia. Pretty lucky. It's winter. It's not winter. It's autumn. It's autumn.
Yep. Okay.
It's autumn, but yeah, pretty short. Very cold now. So you don't get hungry or thirsty. Short days. It's 11.5 or something.
Ooh,
so
nice.
Yeah, so pretty good stuff. Yeah, but you guys going towards that time, so we're gonna get towards the summer, and you're going towards the winter, so it's gonna get really short. I think it's gonna be around 10 hours in London, in Scotland and England. Yeah, around 10 hours, 11 hours.
Yeah.
And it's gonna be longer, like 17 hours here in Australia, but it is what it is, But yeah, time goes fast like water in the stream, It was like yesterday when we started, and it's the 28th day. Hour was 28, 2 hours 29. So yeah, so it's almost gone. 2 days, maybe 1 day or 2 days left. So all good, alhamdulillah. May Allah accept it.
And also, you had recently had a new arrival in your family.
Yeah. I haven't actually told too many people.
Okay.
It haven't been on the social media, so I keep my family to myself. I don't.
Okay.
I'm a more of an observer on social media. I'm not.
Okay.
You might have realized I just have only Twitter, nothing else. No Snapchat, no Instagram, no Facebook, and just Twitter. So I mostly use this for news and and especially what other people doing mostly. So I do reply here and there, but I hardly tweet about things, But yeah, I'm very blessed. Yeah, I'm very happy. It's a new chapter for me, and it's something really something exciting. I wanted to, and I'm really happy. I'm really grateful as well.
I'm glad to hear it. May you stay blessed, brother. Now, one thing I'm noticing big time since the last time I met you is you've formed a very good Australian accent. That is you're sounding like a proper Aussie there. That must have been it's been over the course of the years that you've been there now. I remember you had an accent that sounded like Borat when I used to play with you.
Yeah, I know. I spoke to your then fiance at that time. I remember.
Yeah.
When you call her and you said, "Let's talk to Borat," she's here. I haven't seen that movie like by that time.
Yeah.
I didn't watch it at that time. And you said there is a guy, from a movie. It's very funny. And when I watched that movie, he was very stupid, funny in that movie.
Yeah.
And I literally stopped watching few times that movie. I couldn't watch it,
Yeah.
because he was so stupid. And now, good time. We had some really good time back in customs. So yeah, you adopt something, a little bit with the accent and stuff. So it's just kind of same mix, I'm gonna always have. We all have accents, but I'm gonna have that weird accent, where I sound a little bit Asians or a little bit sometimes sounds people people think I'm more like an Middle Eastern Arab
Yeah.
by face wise as well, and by my accent as well.
Yeah, you look. Yeah, I
Because
think so.
yeah, I speak Arabic as well, and I do get study and a lot of Arabic, so I get a little bit that as well. And then sometimes I feel the same as well. Sometimes a little bit Aussie as well,
Yeah.
because I'm with Aussie boys all the time. Like
Yeah.
while traveling with them or playing for Victoria or for in Big Bash or for Australia on
Mhm.
I tours. So I got those things a little bit from them, and especially my club cricket as well. So you get more when you get more involved. You get the accent as well. I met some of my friends. When I went to UK for the first time, Scotland as well, and they were
Yeah.
talking like Brits. And I was say, oh, look at that. And then you realize, but because they were they were really really bad back home in English, and then when they went there was just something a new start for them.
Mhm.
Like I never drove in Pakistan. I was just used to ride on the bike. So
Yeah.
when I came here, I learned how to drive here. So I was pretty good than my friends because they were used to back in Pakistan. But here, I know the rules, and because this is my start actually,
Yeah. Yeah.
so I'm pretty good here. So same thing like for them. So the accent was very very strong, like a British, and some like from Western London.
Yeah.
They don't say tea like when I went there, they said, "Oh, you want some water?" I said, "What's water, man?" There's a big tea in it. They said, "No tea, it's water." Okay. When Joe Root and Josh Butler, I played with a lot of English players.
Mhm.
Stocksy, Hayes, Root, and Butler. They're absolute legends. And I was sitting next to Rudy and when Josh, they're next to me, and I was teasing Josh. I said, Joe. I said, Joe, can I have some water, please? And they were just laughing. They said, you sound so funny. So try to yeah, impersonate
I
in an
remember.
English accent.
I remember when we were at customs, you were always trying to work on your English. It was very very important to you. So with me and I had a friend with me back then, Dishan Bashir. Both of us
Yeah,
were there at customs. I used to spend a lot of time with us and practicing
yeah,
your English all the time.
yeah,
And
no,
so we had some great times. I just want to mention to all the listeners the teams that you have now played for. Mashallah, it's quite a list. Um, you've played for Australia now, Australia A. Abbottabad is where you kind of start one of your early teams.
yeah,
Played for the Melbourne Renegades, Montreal Tigers more recently. Pakistani Customs is obviously where we played together.
yeah,
Perth Scorchers. Great to see you returning to play in the PSL for the Quetta Gladiators. You played for the St. Lucia Zooks, Sydney Thunder, Trinbago Knight Riders, and Vancouver Knights, just to name a few. Obviously, Victoria is where you made your,
yeah.
your first class kind of real performances for Victoria and the Sheffield Steel competition. Um, Unbelievable, brother. When I was spending time with you, you were playing for Pakistani Customs. I want to just touch on that. So you made your first class debut in 2005 for Abbottabad. 2
Yeah.
matches and you were dropped. What happened? What did you do? Who did you upset?
Yeah, I didn't upset anyone, but you have to make happy everyone. That's the tough thing to
Yeah.
do, especially in Pakistan. Now, it's actually, we do have like a great cricket kind of it's called inter-district cricket, the district best cricket in all Pakistan. I think I was the second most wicket taker in the whole country. And then I got picked, and that was the first time we have like an Abbottabad region team. They announced the regional association teams, at that time, and we got the right. So we were used to play for Peshawar, and then it was the first time, and I got picked in. I played the first game. The first game was also in Ramadan, and I was fasting. I was pretty strict on their side, and I was fasting. But the first 3 days washed out in the rain, and we
Okay.
were playing the last. Yeah, so we were playing the last day, and we bowled out because it was undercover, and it was pretty cold as well.
Mm-hmm.
And we had that the worst earthquake in my life as well in 2005 when Pakistan I think lost 80 to 90,000 people around,
Okay.
and we were in Abbottabad at that time, so we were pretty in tough time because we didn't train much. We went to Islamabad, there was a havoc everywhere. We went back home for a few days, came back, and then we started playing straight away. And then we played one game. It was I think we bowled out around 180 or something, and then we're going to bowl, and I think they smashed us. They won by 9 wickets, and I was the only one who took 1 wicket, and I bowled only 4 overs.
Okay.
And that was the first time when I took the wicket on my first ball or in first over or something.
Yeah.
And that's it. Then I played the last game of the season, and I bowled only few overs in that as well. And then I never played again. And then the next year, I did took the most wickets in my whole region,
Yeah.
but I didn't get picked. And then the next year, I played some Grade 2 cricket for FFC, and then I played for the next 2-3 years. I just missed out on the first class cricket, and then I went to play for Pakistan Customs.
Yeah. I have skipped a little bit, and it's important that I touch on this because your story is very interesting. You were born on February the 5th, 1982, yeah, in a place called Margaux. Have I pronounced that correctly?
Yeah.
Tell me about your upbringing, because I remember your story. I remember we used to sit, and I used to be really interested to hear. I'm blessed of coming from Scotland. My parents would drive me to all my training sessions. I had pretty much everything very easy. So easy. But to sit and talk to some of the sacrifices you made, please tell me about your childhood growing up and some of the things you had to do to be able to play cricket.
Well, we loved it what we had at that time, because sometimes it's a blessing when you don't know about other things, like when you don't know about what's happening around the world or what's happening in the next city or something, because the communication was so low in late 80s, early 90s, there's no internet, there is no other communication, devices. You don't know much about the world. What you see, there was only one channel, TV channel, it was PTV, and there was hardly something on it. People used to watch just few shows, from the from America and England, and then there was few shows from Pakistan, and that's it, And we didn't know anything about, what's happening in England or in USA or in Australia, So you don't know about the life. So you're happy where you're living, you think that's the world. That's the whole world to you, you think the whole world is like that, It's different now. It's a different era now, because of the internet sensation and the smartphones and, the computers, we know everything about all the world. But at that time, there was such things, going to school, going to the religious school after the school, and then doing homework and playing in the hour, well, in the evening, and then that's it. That was our day, So something like that. It was nice, but two brothers, older brother, in a house, father passed away when I was only just one, and then with brothers just playing sports and cricket all the time, a different sport. We were just like we're playing seasonal sports, but there was different sports at different seasons. And in winter, we hardly play cricket. It was more like a summer game. And then we used to play badminton. We used to play a lot of hockey, field hockey. And hockey was very, very, very famous at that time, especially early 90s and 80s. Like cricket wasn't that famous.
Yeah.
And hockey was more famous, and we were pretty good in hockey. And I think Pakistan won the World Cup in 1994, and Pakistan lost the grand final in 1990. So that was the time Pakistan was very, very good. And in 1992, Pakistan won the World Cup as well. So yeah, with the cricket, it's just with the brothers at home and on the street, playing we have community centers, like for each family have one community center for their family. So they do the family things, and we used to use that community center as a playground for everything, because we were so little, It was still quite big for us, playing hockey or volleyball or soccer or cricket, So we used to play even marbles, in the spring, or flying kites, And there were some local games as well. You might heard of kabaddi and like
Kabaddi,
those
yeah.
games, yeah. So we used to play everything, like it was, and we used to start school in winter pretty late, like at 9 a.m.
Yeah.
And we used to get up early, and then we get together before school. So we used to play like at least 1 hour some kind of sports just before going to school,
Wow.
and it was fun. And you have to make the most out of everything, like you have to figure out, you need to utilize everything, whatever resources you have. Hardly any resources, like even we will discuss how I played cricket, first class cricket, borrowing things from people. I played my first class cricket, I borrowed spikes from someone, honestly. And I never bowled in spikes before.
I remember you
So
telling me this. I remember you telling me this.
2000,
Yeah.
and that's 2005. That's not long ago. I used to play like cross trainers. I would
Yeah.
say cross trainers. You can use them like for indoor cricket center, something
Yeah.
like those ones. So I used to bowl always in the cross trainers. I never bowled in the sparks. And then when I started bowling in sparks, I got all those, cramps, everything. It's feel different. So,
Yeah.
yeah, it was nice. We have had an amazing childhood. School. It was pretty happy, very very safe. We live in a really good, beautiful area. Like there's a river, there is like mountains. It's very lush green. It's very clean as well.
Hmm.
And I know it's not the same anymore, unfortunately, because with the population is growing up, and then you get a lot of problems because there's no planning, and unfortunately such things back at home. But yeah, it was nice. Yeah, amazing. Going the only one aim, moms always, telling us you have to study, to be someone, like to be successful in life. And that was the only thing we're doing, study, and then later on just playing cricket. Never thought I'm going to be playing cricket. Out in school I played actually hockey. There was no cricket in our school. Cricket is very expensive game. It was more like a hockey. You get one stick and hockey stick, and you just play with that stick, for the whole season.
Yeah.
So, and there is only one ball, and the ball lasts for very long time.
Yeah.
So cricket pretty expensive. That was not even possible. And the hockey need a smaller ground, and cricket need a bigger playground. So it was easier. So I played hockey in school, but just to make myself busy,
Hmm.
And then I started playing proper cricket in when I was in college.
No, it's amazing to hear about your childhood. Obviously, now I want to touch on when I first came across you. So I come over from Scotland. I'd already been at the academy at Customs for maybe 5 or 6 weeks before you arrived. I had to kind of come over and prove that I could perform there. So I played academy cricket for 5 or 6 weeks, and I'll never forget. We got close to the week before the first class cricket started, and this Afghani-looking chap arrived. I always used to think you looked Afghani. I didn't think you were like you like you say. People think you're more of an Arab. They think you've got that more light-skinned look.
Yeah.
You arrived, and straight away you approached me. You must have heard I was from the UK, and you came over and you started from the first moment practicing your English. Hi. That's why I thought you were Borat. That's why I used to say to you, used to be like, "Hi, I know I'm Fawad. How are you?" And you practicing your English. And I remember the first day you said to me, "Are you going to bat in the net? I will bowl to you." And I was saying, "Oh, I've just batted already." And you were saying, "No, no, no, no. Go and go and bat some more." And I went into the net, and that was the first time that I faced you. And I was very impressed by what I'd seen. You were obviously a very, very lovely rhythm in your leg spin. You had a very nice action. You were getting good revs on the ball. So I was excited at that point because up until then I hadn't really seen who was going to be playing for us in the first class competition. But as the players started arriving, you were one of the very first to arrive, and we had some good practice. And then obviously we shared a room, bunk beds. There was about, I think, maybe 12 or 13 people staying in the one bunk bed. I actually have got an episode with Bilal Shafayat coming out. We joked about the fact that I used to always keep the air condition on, and Zahoor Alai Bhai, he used to always try and hide the remote control from me, so I couldn't put the air conditioning on, but I couldn't sleep unless the aircon was on. Do you remember those times?
Yeah, no, I do remember. Yeah, because people really get cold, and especially the people from Punjab and especially from Karachi as well. You know,
Yeah.
because there's not much really cold weather over there, so they can't really pass the cold atmosphere. So yeah, they were hating, especially the old boy was hating, like, and he was pretty nice, but he's kind of massive age difference, as well, and
Yeah.
plus he played a lot of good cricket for Pakistan, and he was.
Yeah.
That was I think his last year,
Yeah, I
maybe
think him.
second last year or something.
I think him, Mohammed Hussain we had, and Mohammed Zahid.
Yeah,
All three of
yeah,
them played their last seasons. They were all very, very similar to the rest of us.
Yeah, so they were very, very senior than us. They played some really good cricket for Pakistan and in England and county cricket, or all over the world. So they were kind of a bossy, as well, in a good way, not in a bad way, but there was. Yeah, Zahur Bhai, I'm still keep in touch with him. He's been really nice. He's in the coaching now, but yeah, that was good time. I remember. I have a little bit goldfish memory, but if you remind me, it will just hit into my head. But
we used to eat food every night together. We had a great chef, little Shiraz Bhai, the little Bangladeshi man.
I remember him. He was an absolute legend. Yeah, it was amazing. He was one of the best cook I have ever met, in my life.
Unbelievable.
He was so good. He was so kind as well, because you guys came from Scotland, and we always talk, on the side from you guys. These guys, you and what's the other kid name?
Hisham Bashir.
He left, He left,
He
left early, and it says, we were just talking. They whinge a little bit, all the time. They've been keep complaining. I know you're not used to.
Yeah.
But it was something different for us. Like as I said, where we came from, it was better for us. Because my aim was just there for cricket, regardless, where we staying, what we eating.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter what we're getting from Pakistan customs, or how is the flight, how is the accommodation. And how we spend time, and their season, like we stayed in a house as well, remember?
Yeah.
We stayed in the house, someone sponsored that house, and he said, we're going to stay in there and playing first class cricket.
Yeah.
It was unreal. And it's that, but the different mentality, what you want in life, that's what's really impact, especially your behavior, where you go and what you. I would say the important thing is just how I'm gonna say it, like expectations,
Yeah.
So what's your expectations are, So we say low expectation, and less disappointment. So that was kind of a thing for me, because I was there just only to play cricket, to play well, to perform well, and no expectation on the other side, like now I win. Now when I go to play overseas franchise cricket, I whinge a lot about, the flights, and I'm not gonna go. Even I say I'm not going through this route, because I got stopped in USA a couple of times, and they were asking so many questions, and I was there like for 40 minutes at the airport, and then last time when I was going to play for Zooks, I said I want to go through England, because no one bloody asked a single question over there at the airport, so I don't want to go through USA. It was 44 hours flight. But I said, I'm happy to take the 44-hour flight rather the 28 hours flight through USA.
Yeah.
Because I don't like it, So
no, I faced the same thing. We went to New Zealand for the Under-19 World Cup, and I've only been in America once in transit. I was going through LA airport, same thing. Me and Manib Iqbal, they took us to the side, they opened all our bags, and we were with the cricket team. We were in cricket tracksuit, and they're treating
same
us
for me.
So I'm the same.
I was going on the Aussie tour to West Indies, and we were same in the Aussie gear and everything, and my manager got really scared, and they don't know what to do, because they were facing for the first time, and they just put me on the side, and they were asking lots of questions, and they said, oh, what's going on, and my manager, and they asked, they told my managers, you don't need to come. He's the only one. He's gonna ask questions,
Yeah.
And as soon as we're having, what you want to do here in the USA and how long you're gonna stay. I said, it's a transit.
Yeah.
We are going to
I'm going on
again,
another
mate.
plane. I'm not even leaving the
And
airport.
yeah, I'm gonna stay here at the airport and just get the next flight. But they were asking question, and at the end they asked me, do you want to come back? I said no, thank you.
No, thank you. No.
There is more than 200 countries in the world than USA, so I might go somewhere else.
Yeah. No, honestly, I feel the same way. Ever since I went there in transit, I've never went to visit USA, and honestly, it's not a place that interests me to go to because you kind of it's not a very nice atmosphere for us
It's,
to work.
well, it's kind of bigger picture of Australia. I've been to Canada a couple of times now, and been to USA. I've been there like to Miami and LA. I went out. I stayed there for a night and a couple of nights over there, and I went out and had a look around. It's just like the bigger picture of Australia. It's just a little bit more people, not a little bit, lot more people in Australia, and it does looks very like open. How the beaches are, how the people here are. It's more like it's very very different than Europe,
Yeah.
but it's very similar to like Australia. Yes, but in winter it's different. It just gets really cold. But if you go there in like a summer and autumn, or spring, it does look like very very similar to Australia. It's just the same, but it's just a bigger picture.
Bigger place.
The whole thing, yeah, bigger place.
So we started playing together 2009. But we played for Pakistani Customs together. We played the first match against Sui Gas at Steel Town, Karachi. This was a game that lives on in my memory. I was under pressure to perform to prove I could play there. I was lucky to get 100 in my first match. I don't think you played that game. Did you play that match?
No, I didn't play the first two games.
First two games, because this was my memory.
I didn't even went to the ground.
That's right. You didn't
we weren't even allowed to go to the ground. There was just only few guys were allowed, and then I stayed in that academy and was just trained by myself. There was like few more guys. Yeah. But I used to bowl a lot to Shahid Afridi was used to.
Yeah, that's right. He used to train there a lot.
Yeah, so I used to bowl to him a lot as well in the nets. When he would just ask me to come and bowl to me, and then we had few good sessions over there. He used to train in the gym and then bowling and then batting, and he used to do everything. So and he will give some. There was a wicket keeper, I think Ibrahim Bag, someone he was used to keep for him, like those guys. And then I unfortunately I missed that 100.
Yeah, I remember getting back after getting my 100. You were one of the first people who came to me and congratulated me. You were so happy for me, and that's what my main memory of you as a person. You were a very loving guy, very very much a teammate. You always supported everybody. You were not a selfish person. If I wanted to get extra practice, I could say to you, "Come and bowl to me." You would bowl to me for as long as as I needed to bat. You were a very kind person. Thankfully, I think politics of the academy kept you out of the first two games, because I know Haris Khan wanted you to play. He was the one that had specifically brought you to the customs team. He was fighting behind the scenes to get you in the team, but there was other things going on behind the scenes that in Pakistan is out of our control. But you never changed your attitude. You kept your head down, and thankfully by game 3 you had come into the side. One of the main performances I can remember from you is you took 6 for 109 against Karachi Whites. That was a great performance. I also remember one game in particular. We played against National Bank, I think it was, at the Karachi Stadium, and you went out to bat, and Mohammed Amir was bowling, and he was bowling rockets. He hit you everywhere, chest, thigh, but all over your body. And I'll never forget, you never backed away. You were giving him chat, but he was giving you a lot of swears and having a word, and they were obviously cheering you. They were calling you Lala, and talking Pashto to you, trying to take the mic, and you just started laughing, and you were saying, "Come on, no, I'm not." And I think you managed to bat for a good hour that day, but you took a lot of painful shots.
Yeah, no, I remember that was pretty good actually. we were 4 or 5 downs in 4 overs or something,
Yeah.
and he was, oh my god, there was a really fast spell, and it was swinging miles,
Yeah.
I remember the first ball, I went to bed and then went through the gap, and I couldn't see the ball.
Yeah.
I said, what's going on? And I went bed throughout. There was few overs left in the day, and then I batted next day as well in the morning. And it was unbelievable. Amir that was his start of his career.
Yeah, he was
And
he was bowling rockets.
he was fast and he was quick, and they were, like guys, especially from that areas, from Punjab and from Karachi, they used to sledge a lot as well.
Yeah, yeah.
And especially when they know there's someone, well, it happens everywhere, when you see someone who's young, and especially in Pakistan, they really want to, demoralize you, or just, to put you on the back foot and something like that. And they was just sledging me big times,
Yeah.
and I got hit everywhere. I was so next morning I was like kind of a blue everywhere,
Yeah.
because he was swinging so, and Gray's ball, there was not Cooker.
Yeah.
So it was Gray's is like the bigger version of Duke.
Yeah.
And it's just swung big time,
Oh, I remember. I was
it's
watching, just thinking, oh my God, he's gonna kill him here, because the ball was flying. But you showed a lot of bravery, and it probably stood you instead to go to Australia, because you'd already been through some very tough situations in first class cricket. Because when
actually, I bet it's 6 or 7. It wasn't my spot. I was
I think people were hiding in the changing room.
Yeah, they were hiding, and I said I can go. And who, Haris Bhai or Jalal Bhai said, okay, pair up. And then next over, someone got out, and then I went to bed.
Yeah.
And then I bet for a long time. So it was funny, but it was nice as well. Good experience. Yeah.
I actually got dropped in that game. So we played the first couple of games. I got 100, and then I got a 0-0 against Habib Bank. And then Haris Bhai said to me in the morning of that game, "You're not playing." And I remember I was annoyed. I was thinking, this is not fair. I scored 100, only one match ago. And then when I seen Mohammad Talha and Mohammad Amir open up in the first morning, I was like, you know what? It's okay. I'm fine in this match. I'm happy to watch from the sidelines.
I remember that. And that's what I told you as well. You were lucky you're not playing.
You're lucky.
You would have had another duck as well, man. Those two guys were bowling.
They were bowling very quick.
Yeah.
That was the game where little Ramiz Aziz made his name. He was only like 5 foot 1 or 2. And he got, I think, 100 against that attack, and it was very, very impressive to watch. That was the thing. We had a lot of youngsters in the team, Karachi boys.
Yeah.
Some have gone on to play for Pakistan. Ramiz Raja went on to play for Pakistan and plays in the PSL. There was Ramiz Aziz, both very talented players.
Very talented, very talented. So, some good players. Yeah, there was some really good players in that team. Yeah, I remember, because mostly there was some players came through approach, and they through some people, but most of the guys were just playing for the sake of cricket to get an opportunity. You and Bilal Bhai came from all the way from UK, and myself, and there were some other guys, they were playing from rural areas. There was another leggy he was from
Lahore. I can't remember his name. He was a nice guy. Very nice. Very nice guy. He didn't get a chance till very late in the season.
They played 1 or 2 games, and then Waqas was here from Australia,
Waqas Qudrat.
Waqas Qudrat. But there was a lot of guys. They were just there to play cricket, and then I know we have had a terrible season, we just only took, in one game, first inning points, and then we lost that game as well against Wavda.
Yeah.
Against Wavda in Sialkot, but sometimes the tough time make more memories. You remember them forever. So and you learn a lot, from mistakes, especially when you lose. When you win, suddenly when you are really happy, you forget about things. You don't learn too much, and when you are so busy in celebrating, and going ahead, you're forgetting about to do the fine tuning. But when you are in tough time and you even if you don't too much make mistakes, because it's a team game, when the team make a lot of mistakes, you learn a lot from them, and then it's kind of something in your head, back of your head, and it just keep telling you and reminding you, don't do that mistake, don't do this mistake, and then you learn from there, and this how I learn as well, honestly, and especially when it's the time comes when it's really a little bit easy, when it's easy a little bit, and then you really go through smooth and nice, and it's easier for you to take that, and then you go through nicely through that patch as well. So after tough patch, when it's easier patch, then it's easier, to go through, and sometimes when you are in the start through the easier patch, and then it's sometimes it's come very tough, people get out of track, and then you never see them, to be back, on the track. And I have seen a lot of good players, and then I have never seen them again, when they are flopped and they're gone, they disappeared.
Yeah. No, you need to be very mentally tough to go through the challenges, and I think that's something you always had. So my main memory was you always used to ask me a lot about the UK. You were very curious. You wanted to know how, and you used to say to me all the time, I want to come to the UK. I'm going, and I used to say to you, I don't know how you're going to come. It's hard to come to the UK. It's difficult to get a visa. And you used to say to me, no. You watch. I'm going to come to the UK. So a couple of years, not so much, even just pretty much about as soon as I left Pakistan and I went back to the UK, I heard the news that you had managed to not come to. You didn't come to the UK, but you had managed to leave Pakistan in 2010. And you immigrated to Australia through the Ugal Cricket Association. You went to Australia. You applied when you arrived there for refugee status, and there was also the reasons for that where you were facing quite a lot of tough times in your area where you live, which is on the border of Afghanistan, because you were looking to coach cricket in the local area and you were facing a bit of a backlash. Can you tell me a little bit about that time?
Yeah, it was tough, back at that time, especially around 2010 and 12, 8, 9, 10, 12, like that time, it's a pretty tough time in Pakistan. Unfortunately, it's a lot better now. It's completely, I think it's completely cleared now, luckily, and we are very, very fortunate for that as well. So, but the thing is that at that time it was very tough, especially when I left. There was a couple of army operation there as well in my area, where I used to play cricket, in my hometown, Abbottabad, and the mountain areas were not far as well. And then it was tough. It was tough for everyone, for the normal people as well. I know we were used to it, but the couple of guys, from my hometown, they were my friends, they got killed as well. In the bomb blast as well, there was personal attack as well. I used to work with my friend, for an NGO. They got kidnapped as well, so there was threats for everywhere, everywhere. So whatever you do, like over there, back in the days, like any kind of, like a development side, or recreational side, and it was just for some reason I wouldn't say who were there, but they were just like a terrorist, like unfortunately they were terrorizing people, people call them like a lot of people misuse the name of Taliban as well, some of them, like there are some bad people, they just use the name of Taliban, and they say so, sending letter asking for money, and kidnapping for ransom, and like just to create unrest in the community, something like that. Sometimes there is no reason to do things, unfortunately. And like we face it everywhere in the world, for some reason, like there are some terrorist activities around the world, and they are for no reason. Like there is no reason, like so I would say, like that incident happened in New Zealand, there was no reason. And that happened, but sometimes people just create that atmosphere and to want just to seek the unrest in the community and in the area, so same thing happened to us as well, the whole as a community, not just I would say just to me personally as well, but there was the whole community. We were on the threat, and we were on the unrest, there was no life, and it was going from bad to worse until until last 3-4 years has been really good.
Mm-hmm.
But for last, I would say there was that last longer for almost 10 to 12 years,
Mm-hmm.
and that was so bad. It was tough. You were scared to go out. You were scared to do anything. There were so many things happening around you. Every single time you were scared. Something gonna come at night time. There was such a safe and beautiful area, and you were so scared to go as soon as it's getting dark in the
Yeah.
evening.
Yeah.
Actually, so like, yeah, it was tough in that sense. And then as I asked you as well, I wanted to go out, and to pursue my career as well. And it wasn't just about the career either, just to find a safe life, and to help my family as well, myself as well. And it was just could be anywhere, would have been anywhere, but I wanted to go somewhere I can play cricket as well,
Yeah.
honestly, because there was my kind of something, I would say, a plus point, is some kind of like a degree, an extra degree with me,
Yeah.
so I can have an extra option,
Mm-hmm.
So I didn't even play first season here in Australia either, and I thought, okay, just forget about cricket. You're not gonna play cricket
Just
anymore.
before we
And
go
then
into cricket, Fawad, how did you do all this? There was this Yogai Cricket Association,
Yogali,
Yogali
Yogali.
Cricket Association. How did you how did you get over there? Like, I want to know, how did you get to Australia?
It was so easy at that time. It was meant to be.
Yeah.
When it's meant to be, it happens. You will see there are like things happening for you. And that at that time, after you guys, I got selected for Ahmedabad region again,
Yeah.
because I performed so well. I took 19 or 21 wickets something for Pakistan Custom, and
Yeah.
in 5 games and in only 5 innings.
Yeah.
I don't think so we have played any game with 2 bowling, innings. So every time we got out twice,
We had to follow on
yeah.
most of the time.
Yeah. So we have to bowl only once. I took 19, 20 wickets or 21. So when I went back, played district cricket, got selected again for Ahmedabad region. And one of my friend, he played one season here for the association here in Australia.
Mm-hmm.
And he said he got selected and he was playing then. And he said, for some reason, I'm not going because I'm going to miss out.
Yeah.
He said, I'm going to miss out half of the season. So if you want to go, you can go. But I applied before playing for Ahmedabad region again in 2010
Mm-hmm.
and 2009. So yeah, he said, I'm not going. He emailed the president and he said, and when he had a look to my resume, and it was pretty good because I recently played for Pakistan Customs, and I was then going to play for Ahmedabad region as well, and it was pretty recent, and I was performing well.
Yeah.
And especially leg spinner, there's like not many leg spinners, around the world, even in club cricket either, like in first class cricket. So there was not many, especially in country like Australia. There was hardly any leg spinner in the whole country. And
Mm-hmm.
they said, okay, come over. And then I was keep calling to the High Commission, when I'm gonna get my visa, so I wanna get away because I wasn't going back home, very often because the things were going pretty bad. And I was actually playing 4-day cricket, and we played 1-day cricket as well. Just before 1-day cricket in February 2010, I got my visa. Within a week, I left, and then the next phase,
Yeah. I mean, amazing. You arrived in Australia. Initially, you'd obviously had refugee status. You played in the local club Premier Division, Victoria. You played for Melbourne University, which is where you started to announce yourself in the local area as a talent. And in 2012, you became the Infinity T20 cricketer, best bowler in the Infinity T20 cricket tournament. You got the best bowler status. That was a great achievement. Do you remember that well?
Yeah, I remember. No, I played first for Hoppers Crossing. It's called Victorian Turf Cricket Association. Bilal Bhai was there that year as well.
Oh, right.
He was playing for some club as well, and Bilal Bhai came with his brother, and they were both together. Yeah,
I didn't know that.
So Bilal Bhai was there as well, and I took literally like 57, 58 wickets in 11 games, and in the season. I literally took 5+ in every single game.
Wow.
So yeah, and I played for Hoppers Crossing. It's less than grade cricket. So Melbourne Uni above, it's just below state cricket, Melbourne Uni. It's called grade cricket. You might have heard a lot of it. So yeah, I played Hoppers Crossing. We were champion at that time. Next year we lost the semi-final, and then I was playing just T20 cricket as a guest player for Melbourne Uni at that year when I was playing for Hoppers Crossing, and then Infinity Cricket is more on the community side as well. And then in 2012, I started playing for Melbourne Uni because that was the only time when I realized I can play bigger cricket.
Yeah.
So I need to give up. Even I was getting paid from Hoppers Crossing, they find me a job as well. That was the main reason to play. It was just for fun. I wasn't playing for anything serious, like gonna play for Australia or gonna play for Victoria or something like that. But it was just more like a fun cricket. I was itching, to play cricket, and I was in my 20s, and especially for spinner, you get better only when you're 30, when you're 30 plus, and there was a time when I was really itching, I want to play some cricket, and that's why I played to find a job to make more, connections, in the community, to find the ways how to live here in Australia, and I was finding ways, like making connections, and cricket was the biggest ladder I have used, and it helped me a lot as well. And I know Almighty Allah helped me a lot as well. But on the other side, ground realities, yeah, cricket was one of the top ladders that I have used to engage myself to get through that, a transition period, from being a very laid back, slow, used to slow lifestyle back in Pakistan, and from rural area, a country boy, a proper country boy, and to used to a very slow life, and getting to Australia, Melbourne. Since I have moved to Melbourne, is the most livable city in the world for the last 10 years.
Yeah.
And it is unbelievable city. I love it, but the life was completely different. And then, I went to play cricket, and then when I started playing for Melbourne Junior, I realized that's the time where I can play. I thought maybe I play only 1 or 2 games for Bush Rangers. I love the name as well, Bush Rangers. It has been removed now. It's just called the Victorian team.
Yeah.
But it was the Bush Rangers, I loved it. And by the time when I went there for a training session,